Welcome to a story of suspense, mystery, and unseen truths. Best wishes for a thrilling read. Hannah had always been a little anxious when she came to my house, her eyes darting nervously even when the afternoon sun made everything seem calm and ordinary. She had a way of smiling that didn't quite reach her eyes, a nervous energy that made me worry for her more than she knew. She claimed she was here just to help me, to organize my files, maybe fix the shelves I had never gotten around to. But there was always something unspoken in her presence, a tension I couldn't ignore. That night, when she said she was leaving, I didn't notice anything unusual at first. She hugged me tightly, whispered something I couldn't catch, and walked toward her car. Then I saw it, a black SUV, low and menacing, rolling slowly behind her, its windows tinted so darkly that I couldn't tell who was inside. My stomach tightened as I realized she was being followed. I wanted to call out, to warn her, but she had already gone down the street. By the time I grabbed my phone to check, the SUV had disappeared around the corner. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was coincidence. But the unease in my chest refused to let go. The next morning, the unease turned into panic. Hannah's phone was switched off. Her messages went unanswered. Her voicemail was full. I called her workplace, her friends, anyone who might know. But no one had seen her since the previous night. And then it got worse. I found her purse on my porch. Not left on the side, not carefully placed, just there, lying in the cold morning light, as if she had been taken from my house, leaving only the shell of her belongings behind. I went straight to the CCTV footage, my hands shaking as I pressed play. The night was quiet at first. My living room camera showed her coming in, setting her bag down, and sitting in the living room. She never left. The footage showed her watching TV, sipping tea, and, most chillingly, standing by the window, staring out as if expecting someone. Hours passed, and still nothing. The last frame of the night showed the door closed, locked, and her standing in the living room. The next morning, her purse was on the porch, and the SUV. There was no footage of anyone entering or leaving. No car pulling into the driveway. No footsteps. Nothing. It was as if Hannah had vanished from my house entirely, replaced by an illusion that left only her belongings behind. I felt my heart race, a mix of fear, confusion, and disbelief. I called the police, but they treated it as a missing person case. They didn't understand the footage. They couldn't see what I had seen, the subtle shadows, the fleeting reflection in the window, the way the room seemed to tremble with some unseen presence. Days passed. I checked her phone, her social media, even her email. Every trail led nowhere. And then a message arrived, not on her phone, but on mine. No number, no sender, just words typed in a rush. She is not Hannah. She never was. I froze. My mind screamed for answers, but there was no time to think. That night, I reviewed the footage again, frame by frame, and that's when I noticed it. A second reflection in the window, faint, shadowy, but unmistakably not Hannah. It was her silhouette, almost identical, but the way she moved, the tilt of her head, the hesitation in her step, it was subtly wrong. The woman who left the house with the SUV wasn't Hannah. She was a perfect mimic, a doppelganger so close to the original that I hadn't noticed at first glance. The terror settled deep in my chest. Who was she? And why? I retraced every memory of Hannah's visits, every conversation, every time she had seemed anxious or distracted. It wasn't paranoia, I realized. It was instinct. Something had been off, something I had ignored because I wanted to trust. And now, the truth had revealed itself. I had been living with a shadow, a copy, while the real Hannah was somewhere out there, or worse, already lost. I couldn't stop thinking about the SUV, the black menace that had followed her. I contacted private investigators, cybersecurity experts, even people who dealt with high-level disappearances. Every path led to the same chilling conclusion. The woman I had seen leave in the SUV had been trained, prepared, and planted to replace Hannah. Maybe to manipulate, maybe to lure, maybe to deceive. But why? And who would go to such lengths? Then came the message that finally made my blood run cold. It arrived via email, sent anonymously. You have seen what you were not supposed to. Let her go. Or next time, it will not be her face you see. I understood then that Hannah's disappearance wasn't random. She had been targeted, shadowed, and replaced by someone with intentions far beyond my comprehension. The footage, the SUV, the purse, it was all a carefully constructed illusion, a stage on which someone had played the part of reality while hiding the truth. I began the search, but it wasn't just for Hannah anymore. It was for the person who had taken her, and the woman who had walked out of my house in her place. Every lead ended in shadows. Every witness seemed to forget details I knew were crucial. Every trace led me deeper into a labyrinth where time, memory, and identity twisted into impossible shapes. I couldn't tell who was real, who was watching, and who was still free to play their dangerous game. Weeks passed, and I realized one devastating truth. The world I thought I knew, the quiet town, the safe streets, even my home, had been infiltrated. Someone had replaced a piece of it, and I could not trust anything anymore. But I refused to give up. I combed through CCTV footage again and again, analyzing every flicker, every shadow, every reflection, until one night I saw it. A subtle movement behind the sofa, a foot that didn't belong, a shadow that moved against the light. I followed it, hard hammering, down the narrow hallway and into the basement. And there she was, Hannah, alive, terrified, but very much real. The woman who had left in the SUV was gone. Someone had staged the perfect deception, but they had underestimated my persistence, my refusal to accept lies. She collapsed into my arms, whispering fragments of explanation. The SUV, the threats, the duplicity. She had been followed, coerced, and replaced. A pawn in a dangerous game that spanned far beyond our knowledge. As the first light of dawn filtered through the basement window, I held Hannah and made a silent vow. Whoever had done this would be found. Whoever had dared to take her, to manipulate, to terrify us, would answer. And in that moment, the world felt simultaneously fragile and unbreakable, a place where shadows moved and secrets festered, but also a place where truth, no matter how delayed, could still be reclaimed. The woman who had gotten into the SUV? A perfect imitation, a shadow with no soul, a reminder that appearances could deceive, and that reality, no matter how twisted, could only be revealed by courage, persistence, and the refusal to surrender to fear. Hannah was back, and I knew, beyond any doubt, that the world I had trusted had changed forever, but so had I.